In this video today, we're going to be looking at Lil Uzi Vert, a rap musician, a hip-hop musician who does more alternative hip-hop. Some people have described his flow as very powerful and memorable and catchy, and he has these incredible melodies that he does, and you could really tell he had a specific rhythm. Let's break down Lil Uzi Vert today and find out whether he's actually in the flow state or it's just all a facade. Let's go.
Yeah. I'm inspired. I'm inspired.
Hey there guys, what's happening? My name is Sumet Chatterjee from the Flow Zone Academy, and I'm a flow state coach. I'm also a certified performance coach, okay? I have a background in positive psychology. I'm a flow state coach, which means that I help you feel better and perform better. Let's get started. Today we're talking about musician, rapper Lil Uzi Vert. First of all, it's very interesting that this man's name is an acronym for love, L-U-V, right? I'm a flow state coach, so I'm mainly focused on, is he able to tap into the flow state? And I'm looking at a particular interview from Apple Music where Zane Lowe interviews him. So here he mentions that he values pacing, okay? Now, it's not always the case that you can tap into flow all the time, but if you are an actual flow state Jedi, it is almost accessible at any time, okay? But he seems to believe that there is one perfect time or a right time to do something. Now, this can work in terms of environmental triggers, like if your environment is set up in such a way that the flow state becomes natural, it might actually trigger a flow state response. In flow state, you lose a sense of time. I think he does have this aura of timelessness, but the way he's talking about time seems to be more associated with like patience or waiting for just that impulse or that maybe that flow state instinct, right, within himself, like, okay, I'm only gonna release music when I feel like it, not so much when I give myself a specific date or a deadline. I'm sensing that he's more of the kind of go with the flow. He's also very much be the flow. He's an entity, a being of his own, right? He's very unique, definitely differentiates himself from all the other rappers. Very bold image, right, of like the piercings and tattoos and the hair and the vibe that he generates on stage and things like this. So one thing that I just want to state is don't make your patience into procrastination. Don't do that to yourself, okay? I don't know if he's doing that here or not, or if it's a cop-out or whatever, or if he genuinely believes that there is a right time for things. And you can believe that. I also believe that. You know what I mean? Like sometimes it's just a divine timing thing. So this one is 50-50. If you're undefinable, like he says, I'm an alien. I've always believed this growing up, okay? I have this similar idea and mindset that I'm like unidentified. I don't have an identity, so I'm gonna build one. For Lil Uzi Vert's music, you can't really put him into a box, though it does fall under the umbrella of alternative hip hop. There is a quality in it that is very ahead of its time, let's just say. Quality about it, which is using like synth pop and there's this grunge emo side to him, and then there's this rapper side. So he has all of these, he's multi-dimensional, right, as a character. I'm a rapper too, right? My Spotify name is Scripts. You can check it out. I'm the type of artist who will listen to my own music. I know a lot of artists say they don't do that or they feel that it's cringe. I actually like to, because then I get a sense of like what I've done in the past and how my style has evolved and changed over time. There's so many great things you can do by just listening to your music again and analyzing that. So I like the fact that he vibes out to his own music, but just don't get into like your own bubble of flow state where you're only about you, okay? This is gonna be problematic, man. You just don't want to be a rich, lonely dude, right, with less friends. Like, he's giving off this kind of a vibe, so I don't think that amplifies his flow state. I think the guy on stage who connects with his fans, I think that's more in his flow. The crowd pleaser flow state, where if he can merge that calmness with him being super hype on stage, I think he can find his own flow state code. And of course, it's so cool that he has some kind of a structure or a sense of control that he's given himself. Love is Rage is all about chasing the girl. Lil Uzi Vert versus the world is like the fight for the girl. The Perfect Love tape is like when you've got the girl. And Love is Rage 2 is like you lost the girl. It's this whole thematic understanding of like, okay, I know myself, but I want to understand love. I want to understand women. And I think his mind went there. And he started to explore the artistic kaleidoscope of that experience of love and relationships. I think he's really started to delve into it, break it down, and understand it like a process. That's kind of very interesting to me, because an ability to have flow, you must recognize patterns. And he's definitely a pattern creator. Don't know if you recognize the pattern there in his music, but he's creating a structure for it, right? He's guiding his fans somewhere. That is up to his Tao, his instinct, it seems like. He says it himself, right? He's so hype that he gives himself headaches. That tells me he's very much in his imagination and into the world, right? You gotta get into your body as well, man. He says it's harder to keep himself calm than to be a famous artist. So now you understand really that he tries really hard to stay calm. However, at the same time, he says he's not trying. So there is a kind of a paradox here, okay? Where he exerts effort to keep himself calm because his mind is so full of ideas and so hype. He's so rage, he's so hype. That I don't think he's found that spiritual angle, really. I think this industry has eaten him alive. And I don't think he likes having people in charge of him and having a record label control his life, basically. That's crushing his flow state. You can clearly see that. You can clearly see that through this interview. I think people shouldn't label him as this auto-tune mumble rapper, because I think his music definitely has more depth than it presents itself sometimes. I think a lot of his tracks do have this kind of like very generic quality to it, but that was like some of his older, like he is like, I think he is an extraterrestrial, like, let's be honest, guys, right? Because his music is kind of like in that realm of very space-like, you know, it almost feels like hyper space pop or something like that, what these artists are creating nowadays, right? This new genre of trippy reds and all these, you know, it's like mixed mastered Lil Waynes at this point, right, is what is happening. I get that he has this rock angle and he's a Manson fan and he has this, you know, this liking towards Hayley Williams, which I think she's really attractive as well. But I mean, more in regards to music. I don't really listen to Paramore or whatever, you know what I mean? He makes you feel like you can do whatever you want just by taking action. Just go do it. It's this vibe that he doesn't really care what other people think of him, which is really powerful for his maintaining his flow state vibe. So I'm getting the example that when people over compliment him, even getting 100 people listening to his SoundCloud is equivalent to thousands of people listening to that song in his mind. So I think he has this mentality of Mushin where he's able to judge things from neutrality or the choice point. Okay? Something negative happens in his life, he still comes from that thank you. Something positive happens in his life, he still comes back to that thank you. Okay? It's this neutrality. It's not going to get knocked off center that easily. Which you can see this guy's been through a lot of pain. Right? It's very obvious. He's been through a lot of pain to get to where he's at. I think that's another empowering grit quality, right? This kind of go-getter mentality. The more something is personal to you, the more you can amplify it and use it for your flow state. So here, clearly he had the emotional fuel when he's collaborating with Gucci Mane. There seems to be something there that gives him that momentum forward. But he has this giving energy too, I believe. I think his main superpower is he can let go. He can let go of the technique of rap and he can just free flow and improvise. He's using the yes and rule of improvisation. Okay? Based on collaborations, basically you want to transcend your technical skills. It's not just this kind of self-instructional manual in your mind. You're just basically getting out of your own way now when you're in the flow state, okay? I think he's good at unleashing creativity in the moment. I really think he is. And I can tell his very philosophical quality when he starts going like this with the lighter and he's trying to catch the flame at the end of the interview. I think that was the most important element for me to say that yes, this man is definitely living a flow state lifestyle.
Everything right now is all about being effortless. I'm in the mode right now.
He wants things to be effortless. He said that when he was younger, he was good at things, but he wasn't really the one. He wasn't Neo in the Matrix yet, okay? He wasn't the main character of his movie yet. So I think now he has that get it done mentality, which gives him that productivity, right? 2,700 songs, that's quite a lot of songs, bro. You know, this man is a workhorse, clearly. There's something there, there's some circuit in his brain working that's constructing this entire like love narrative storyline theme, right? That's just moving him forward. It says, I ain't trying, I'm just here. Right? So you get the elements of presence from that. He does get into this state where he says, I'm doing it by myself. Now, this is my biggest fear for Uzi, is that he isolates himself and he becomes like all of these other stars who sing this kind of sad music. You know, rest in peace to all the other, you know, artists who've been through this. Lil Peep, then you have Juice WRLD. You know, other examples of artists who are just in this pop kind of emo genre of rap, where they get very isolated and they get into that negative spiral because that's all they're singing about sometimes is these negative themes. But Uzi seems to balance it out with a lot of his music, but I do respect how emotional he is and how vulnerable he is with his music, because I think as an artist, you do need that quality for your music to excel throughout time. I think he's the type of artist who's very experimental, okay? But you can clearly see that this man has been stifled in his creativity based on the music industry, and there's something happening where you can see the pain and the sadness through his eyes. There's like something about him which is he does enter this state of neutrality and he can access it, and he is in flow. But I have questions about Lil Uzi Vert's mental health, which I'm concerned for won't give him that long-term flow state. I hope he gets the help that he needs and he levels up his mind, he keeps that positive vibe alive and not let his negative side take over, basically. Take it as what it is. That's my perspective. I hope you enjoyed this video today. Share it with a friend if you enjoyed it. Follow the channel, subscribe, hit that notification bell. Let's get it. Upward Spiral Gang. May we never be the same again. May the flow be with you and stay legendary. Let's get it.